Tyler, thank you so much for coming aboard the first ever Glass Half Full. Call it episode one, I guess. For those of you who don't know you, tell us a little bit about you and your background.
Well, my name is Dr. Tyler Woods. I have a PhD in holistic health. I have a master's in counseling. And so after being a clinician for many, many years, I decided to retire and solely focus on holistic mental health. And I spent 22 years, 21 years actually, working with completed suicides. And I've worked with over 6,000 completed suicides in 21 years, which is nothing to brag about, believe me. I specialize in crisis management, depression, trauma, anxiety, and I do a great deal of what's called positive psychology, or I call it Buddhist psychology. And I've been in private practice now for 22 years.
Cool. Tyler, so let's jump into it. The reason why this whole thing came to mind is because there's a lot of negativity and anxiety in the system, as we were speaking of previously. And so we are also seeing a lot of good things pop up on the internet. On CNN, they have videos of all the positive things that are coming out of this. So there's a lot of negative to look at, but there's also a lot of positive, correct?
That's absolutely correct. And we've got to watch it. And right now, a lot of people don't want to be positive. I posted a positive post on Facebook yesterday that said 100,000 and some odd people have survived the virus. And people were getting mad saying, just wait till it comes to Tucson, just you wait. And people are, some of this is actually literally changing people's personalities. I'm seeing really kind people not so kind, and I'm seeing not so kind people becoming very kind. It's really a dichotomy right now.
Why is it that the human brain gravitates toward the negative even when you put the positive out there? Because a contact of mine did share the same thing, and I shared this post of, the good news. And this was legitimate from, I think, CBS News out of Chicago, that said, people are recovering from the coronavirus. People are surviving the coronavirus. So it's bad, but people are recovering. But why is it that people need to revert to the negative, though?
Because it's easier to grab negativity. It's so easy because it's almost our nature. So it's so much easier to, it takes more to frown than it does to smile, right? But yet we frown more. And so the thing with negativity is we really have to not think so hard to be negative, but we actually have to use our brain power to think positive. And so I call it lazy emotions.
So what takes work, which is actually focusing on the positive and the positive aspects of a situation, is kind of the thing that people don't want to do because it takes work, right?
Exactly. One of these days I want to write a book about, I want to call it Thatcher the Thought Catcher. And it's a little bitty person inside the brain that catches thoughts. He's always catching the negative thoughts because the negative thoughts are so heavy that they're right there for him to catch. And how dare he have to get on a ladder and reach up like this to catch the positive thoughts? Yeah. Well, it's the same thing. There's a lot of Thatchers in our world right now. And actually, I find it quite refreshing to be positive right now. We need it. And we need balance. We need to have a time to mourn too and be upset. But we need a good balance.
Talk about simplicity in this case, Tyler, as in life in general, because let me give you an example why this comes up. After the first attempt at this yesterday, when it didn't work on the tech side, I found the rest of my, and I was trying to figure it out. I woke up this morning really frustrated that, okay, I figured out Zoom, but at the same time, I could not get my thoughts together until I literally wrote them down of, okay, I got to pick up the dog poop, have to wash the dogs, have to get on the treadmill, talk to Tyler. And so I literally have my list of things to keep my day simple and organized. And I felt more susceptible to chaos, at least right here within myself. And so does simplicity play a role, and taking it easy on yourself play a role in situations like this?
Well, it absolutely does, and stop with the have tos. The only thing you have to do is die. So you don't even have to pay taxes. You don't have to go to work. You will need to pay the consequences. But I always make a list saying, I need to.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
need to do the dogs. I need to get on my treadmill. Because when we say have to, it's like do or die. But if we say need to, it means it's a choice. So when you talk about simplicity, talk about your verbiage, because like people are saying, like this whole thing right now of social isolation, it's not social isolation. No, no, no. We are physically isolating. Socially, you even told me a while ago, you and your brother and sister got on Zoom and you guys did something you haven't done socially in a long time. So socially, we are not isolating. In fact, socially, we are becoming more social, but we are distancing ourselves.
yeah. I heard somebody from the governor of Washington's cabinet say that she actually doesn't like the term uh, social distancing. She prefers physical separating because people connotate social distancing from, or they relate it to emotional distancing when really no one's telling you to be cut off from other human beings, which is why I had a blast talking, and I had never talked to my brother and my cousin Jasmine this way technologically, and we did for the first time, and we had a blast for like 2.5 hours, and that was my evening last night after I figured out Zoom. And so there's let's segue into the glass half full. That was one of the positives that came out of me for it is I literally got to talk with my brother in Seattle and in the Seattle area and my cousin Jasmine in LA, and we had a blast talking. And so there's so many great positive things coming out of this, correct?
Absolutely. And that's another thing people are getting uptight about. I'm a fan of this magazine called Elephant Journal. And I kind of told them off today because they're saying, how dare we look at the positive in this? How dare we not look at the positive? We need to be the positive. We need to feel the positive because our suicide rate is sky high right now. We need to sit there and look at the mental health aspect of this, that it's causing people to get depressed. And we just can't sit there and simply go to our doctor and say we're depressed because we don't want to get out there, especially in a doctor's office. So, yes, it's okay to feel positive. And like I said, as long as we have a little balance, we need to show a little balance because we also need to let the fear, the anxiety, the hardship go through us, process it, and release it.
Very true. And I guess on a personal note, late last night, I was watching an NBC story about that in Italy. It was kind of like an overall coverage of the different things that are going on in different countries. Italy, unfortunately, they have had 10,000 people perish from the coronavirus. Um, the positive, that's horrible, first off, and my heart goes out to everyone affected in Italy, affected by these 10,000 deaths, first and foremost, the deceased. But then I thought, well, the takeaway for me personally is, and I'll tell my wife this in a little bit right now, but really, we got to visit Rome in 2017. And the positive takeaway, I guess, on a personal note is um, we got to see Rome, and we're very blessed and fortunate to visit the place before this thing that has changed us forever and will have changed the world forever. So next time we'll go back, we're going to remember the before and after, and I'm thankful for having been there to see life, even if at least for a few days back in 2017 in the before state. Is that weird to be taking that type of positive out of that type of situation? Is that what people
I
should
don't
be
think
doing?
anything is weird right now. We take what we're going to take, and hopefully, we will have enough people that will take something positive. I tell people our norm is going to change even once we get through this and do the death toll and we get through the summer where the virus cannot survive in the summer. Hopefully, we're going to have a new way of thinking, of being, of reflecting. And I don't call it that we're in lockdown or quarantine. I call it we're in reflection right now. And I don't know about you, but talk about the glass half full and overflowing. I am getting a lot of gratitude right now. Yeah, it's a little discerning that I'm a musician by night and I don't have any gigs and I'm not playing with my band. And I know a couple of my favorite nightclubs will shut down and they won't probably be able to reopen. And that is saddening to me. But at the same time, I know that we're finding new ways to do music right now. Same with education. Boy, we're not going to read about any school shootings right now because it's all being done online starting tomorrow. All education is online, and it will probably be that way until the end of the school year. So we have to look at what we're going to take away from this. And if we are, I'm content that I'm going to take away a lot of growth with this. And the biggest thing is sometimes I get frightened easily, and I'm not afraid right now because I'm following protocol. I'm following what our mayor says, and I'm going to listen to her more than anybody else right now because she's smart enough that she knows we need to have a shutdown. And so I appreciate that because I know it's going to save lives and we're going to flatten that curve.
Very true. And with regards to music, I saw something interesting now that you bring it up. A contact of mine who's a musician in Phoenix was doing a Facebook Live in his garage, but he had a link in the description and it said tips appreciated.
Uh-huh.
So they're musicians still doing their thing, except taking tips online. And I thought that was genius. And
not only genius, but let me make the glass fuller. I've talked to a few musicians who are doing this, who are making more money than they have in tips while playing live.
Wow. That's interesting.
Because everybody gets that they've lost their shows, they're being understanding, they're showing compassion. Normally when I go see music, I throw a 5 in. Now when I'm tipping online, I throw a 10 in because I know that's what's going to help these musicians.
Tyler, ultimately, it is okay to acknowledge the negative, but it's also okay to look at the positive, right? And to extract the positive, correct?
Balance, Edgar. Life is, if you could imagine, we are one big scale. And what we want is balance like this. So it's that rocking motion, negative, positive. Breathe in the positive, breathe out the negative. It's what makes, like I said yesterday, in order for a car battery to work, there's a negative and there are positive. And you have to have them both for the car to start.
Very true. Very true.
And our emotions are that way. Someone came to me once in my office and said, I just want to be happy all the time. And I said, all the time, huh? Well, how would you know if you're happy if you've not been sad? And they're like, well, that poses a threat to my thinking. And I'm like, good. Because in order to be happy, we have to know what sadness is. And in order to be sad, we have to know what happiness is.
Yeah.
And this is a very sad time in our life. We're watching people die. I have a friend, she's lost 2 family members. And I get that she's grieving right now. And I also get that, and I think they're in Italy, but I also get that she's allowed to be sad. And at the same time, she's a musician. She's playing music and laughing too. So she's feeling both sides of the emotional scale, so to speak.
Which is okay.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
That's what you want. Yesterday, I saw 6 clients online, and then we did that thing with each other for a while. And then my phone went nuts. And by 6 o'clock, I was so peopled out, I just broke down and cried and said, no more. I can't, my body is shutting down, saying no more. Turned the phone off. I cried for 5 minutes, put my feet up, lounged in the chair. I was in bed on a Saturday night by 7:30.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was okay to do that. And so and then I woke up this morning happy,
Mm.
stressed on a couple things because I'm starting a new radio show in Tucson with two mental health workers trying to help people get through to this. And then I was a little nervous about that, but I was happy. I was writing parodies about toilet paper and putting them on Facebook, and I was having a blast. But at the same time, I'm taking emergency calls from clients going, I'm freaking out. And so it's being able to juggle these emotions with our glass half full, half empty. I always say my glass is always full.
Very true. Very true. Tyler, well, you already sent me your information. Um, I'm going to go ahead, let's go ahead and conclude this right here. Thank you so much for your time. I'm going to provide your information if anybody wants to reach out to you in the description as well as in the comments below this video, and I'll get the video, I'll get you tagged on the video. And thank you so much, Tyler, for your time, because I know that right now it's stressful, but I also do know that there's a lot of positive coming out of this. And so we just have to remember that it's okay to look at the positive that is there.
It is okay. And Edgar, thank you for doing this. Your timing is absolutely brilliant.
Perfect. Thank you, Tyler. Appreciate it. And thank you too. All right, Tyler, I'll see you later. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Bye.